Hey YouTube, good morning. Well, we got another version of FSDBeta. We're up to version 11.3.6 and it came yesterday evening. This is version 2022.45.15, so we're still on the 2022 branch. But it does seem to be merging the ultrasonic and the non-ultrasonic cars. I have a non-ultrasonic car, but I've noticed on Teslafy and Stats and Teslascope that a few cars that were on the ultrasonic only version are now on this same build. It does seem to be going a little bit wider initially than perhaps the last version did, so maybe this will go wide pretty quickly. I'm just going to knock out a quick Memorial Park test drive, first impressions drive with one unprotected left and the typical route. So sit back, relax, and let's go driving. All right, the slight rain might interfere with our driving today. See, we do have a degraded message there, but let's see what happens. It's light rain. The windshield wipers are running. So here's my unprotected left. Traffic is low. It's Sunday morning. Probably not. Okay, do have to stop there, but there's just one car, and it's going to roll that one and roll it all the way through. No hesitations. Typically, I didn't get a hesitation in the street unless there was oncoming traffic from the right. Yeah, so the windshield wipers are kicking in a little bit more, so it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. So now I'm going to edit my trip real quick to try to get the U-turn test that we did last time. And here's our U-turn. Caught it just in time. I got to be quick on that. Okay, so coming into the U-turn, no oncoming traffic. It's kind of going out to the right again like it did last time. And look at that road lane network it's got there. I have much less traffic than I did last week when I did this. Just that one car, and there's nobody from behind. This is kind of what it's doing. So it's got a programmed U-turn. It's definitely wanting to go out and to the right. I'm just going to tag that for the beta team engineers to have the data. Now there is a car coming. Now see how close he came to me? That's because I'm out in the lane a little bit where I shouldn't be. So I'm just going to go ahead and tap the accelerator a little bit. And it's going back out into the lane, so I had to go ahead and disengage. Unsuccessful U-turn, encroached traffic lane. All right, so that's fine. Unsuccessful U-turns are fine. I did not expect that to be resolved yet. Not sure if we're going to get our beta back now in this light rain, so we'll just kind of give it a second. Yeah, that disengagement there might have cost me my ability of re-engaging with the windshield wipers going at this frequency. Might need to get it out of the rain so the windshield wipers slow down just to kind of trick it back on. Once you get it engaged, you can, oh, there it is. Oh, I missed it. Did you see the steering wheel there? And I just missed it for a second. Got it. Okay, so I'm actually a little surprised it let me engage there because the windshield wipers definitely did not slow down. So we might get a little bit of full self-driving in the rain testing today. In light traffic, I don't expect a whole lot of traffic interactions today. This should be straightforward, other than perhaps some of the things they changed in 11.6. The release notes were the same. So 11.3.6. Let me, uncomfortable pause there. Not sure what that was for. So that has probably been the most annoying thing on these version 11 builds, is these unexpected, very rapid pauses, almost like a safety pause. It sees something it's not sure about. The braking it uses is uncomfortable, specifically when people are right behind you on your tail. I'm actually pretty impressed that it allowed me to engage it in this amount of rain. It's not like it's heavy rain, but the windshield wipers are going pretty good, which is usually the first indicator you have that it's not going to engage. here's a double green light, and there's the double green light pause, all the way down to 40, and then speeding back up. So that double green light pause is still there in scenarios that are just right for it. Not sure what it does. As soon as you go underneath one green light, it pauses a few miles an hour and then reaccelerates. All right, should be taking a right turn on its own here, then I'll edit my route again. Just fine. All right. And there's the recalculation, and that's good. Yeah, so I have no idea what they fixed in this version. Back to that point, there were no release notes that changed. But with the speed that they released it, I'm guessing it's just more polish. Elon didn't mention anymore in any tweets anything about needing to fix anything. So I guess they just saw some things in the data and they're back to a faster cadence. I do have a pedestrian on a bicycle, a VRU actually, here on the left. So he went through the lane. He's not marked as blue, as you noticed, because I still have a red light. I think he would have been marked as blue if he was in that lane and I had green. And you see now I'm green with a protected and he's well clear and it's just taking its time there. Oh, very uncomfortable. It's kind of a second pause there for a snapshot. It's like it didn't complete the turn nice and smoothly. It kind of started and then went to the right and then back to the left. Okay, the route looks good for the rest of this trip. It does end in the Publix parking lot, so we might get just a quick auto park test to see if there's any changes. Next up is the traffic circle that to this point has not been working very well, mostly because of map data not being the same thing that Vision sees. So I think there's an underlying stop sign in this circle that it's stopping for. Just to kind of get here on this traffic circle where we are, it typically, you see there's even stop signs there on the Google map data there. That's okay to yield there because that truck was coming, but it does not need to stop. The yield is okay. And typically on the other side of this, it does a stop at this crosswalk right where the stop line is, and then it reproceeds. So the data still there is a little confusing. With no traffic, it did it okay. You see this next traffic circle is mapped without any stop signs showing. And it slowed down aggressively, which is okay. Yeah, it did that one fine. So somehow that map data is still confusing it. Going through a school zone here, it's Sunday, so there is no school, so it's appropriate for it not to slow down, but there's no sort of symbology that it recognizes this is a school zone. Yeah, this light rain, maybe a little bit more than light. I wouldn't want to be out walking in this without an umbrella or a raincoat on. So it's a little bit more than light. Definitely changes the lighting. The lighting is much more subdued than normally on this drive that I do. And the streets are a lot slicker, meaning like you have a different color and sheen on them. You can even see this yellow flashing light reflecting off of the street in front of me, just because the streets have some water on them. But it's staying engaged and even allowed me to engage it, which is great. All right, coming up on the second flasher here. I'm sorry, this is the first flasher. See if we got any red there. A little bit of red at the end, just as we went underneath it, which has always happened. One more. Not slowing down at all, which is great. Next is a right-hand turn. Should be a right on red scenario if the light stays red, but by the time we get up there, it might be green. The problem with this intersection is it kind of hogs the lane. That's what it's typically done, and the map path here it's kind of using the full lane right here, kind of going right in the middle. If I'm going to take a right turn on red, I need to kind of scoot over to the right, so if anybody wanted to be to the left of me. So our creep limit there, the creep limit is not perpendicular to the street. Had plenty of visibility there, but it proceeded just fine. So nice right on red there. Four-way stop sign coming up. We've got some other areas up here with bad map data creating speeds and stops in the inappropriate spots. Let's see how aggressive this four-way stop is here. Full stop, long pause, creeping forward. He's got the stop, and look what it just did. Okay. Stopped in the middle of the intersection of a four-way stop. Okay, so it stopped in the middle of that four-way after it had committed because it saw a car that was coming. So the worst thing to do if you think a car is coming is stop right in front of it. So that is completely unacceptable. So here's the bad map data here with 15 miles an hour. Still map data there, same as before. But back to that four-way intersection, it made the right decision. There was a car approaching for the other end of the four-way stop. I had the right-of-way. I committed, but as soon as I recognized that other car was kind of coming aggressively fast to the stop sign, it stopped right in front of him, which is the worst place to be if that guy's going to run a stop sign or isn't paying attention. You know, commit, get out of the way. I haven't seen that scenario, so I'm not going to call that a regression, but stopping in the middle of the intersection when you see something that isn't right is the worst place to stop. So I'm disappointed with that for sure. All right, should be continuing straight all the way now, just up this small rainy road. All right, normal stop sign here, stop light, excuse me, traffic signal. This is the intersection, and that was a nice roll. It never came to a complete stop. That car started coming right on red with a crawl, and it continued because it knew it had the right of way. That was good. That was the intersection back there that coming the other direction. It needs to get in the right lane quickly, if you remember that previous one. So that's where I am on the map. Yellow, that was a good one to see if it was going to go or stop, and it decided to stop, which is what NHTSA wants us to do, I think, on those. Lot of debate on how much yellow to tolerate. That made a good decision, especially with another car that had the right of way at the stoplight. Yeah, this rain, and obviously being Easter morning here, has got the traffic way, way, way down. So this drive should be pretty much a gimme without a whole lot of traffic interaction. I've always said that FSD does an amazing job when it doesn't have to deal with the world, and it's just got to deal with the traffic laws, and that's kind of how the situation it's got today. Which means it ought to be able to pull into this parking lot coming up here pretty easily. Let's see how it gets into the lane. It needs to get over to the left, and it kind of aggressively ran through the turn lane and then into the parking lot. And of course you can see the parking lot is completely empty today. So let's see where it takes us without the risk of any sort of traffic. Okay, it's pulling all the way up, navigating the parking lot. You can see what it's mapping. It's not mapping parking spaces, but it is mapping the medians. see where it decides to stop. All right, navigation complete, it says, but it's continuing. Not sure where it's going. And I guess there's where it's going to stop. Okay, so that is the end of leg 1. And because, I don't know why it says stopping for traffic control. Let's see if I can get it to do a park assist. Let's go over here next to this other car and see if anything shows up. If I put it in reverse, does anything show up? Not really. Maybe get it a little bit closer. I don't know what it needs. Oh, I think I did see a P. I wasn't looking down. Okay, so auto park aborted. Okay, let me put it in reverse again. Try it again. I don't think I aborted it. I wonder if that rain on the windshield, the rear view camera is the problem. It's not giving me the P anymore. Yeah, I'll just keep moving it around, see if I can get a P. I think it's the rain on that camera. Yeah, I can't get it to engage. I'll go around one more time just because I've got the cameras rolling. See if it'll notice any of these lanes here. Oh, there's a P. All right. Shift to reverse. Start. Actually, an interesting scenario where a car kind of came around. Yeah, it's probably going to do a 3-pointer here. It's not going to like that angle. Okay, so there's auto park demonstration. Still a little finicky to get it engaged. Not exactly impressed with that. It feels like it's the same. I, as you can see, didn't have any ultrasonic, vision-based ultrasonics on here. I'm going to force this route back a different way. Adding a stop. And that works. That gets me the direction I want to go through the town of Avondale. I'll see if I can engage it here before the stop sign. Okay, engaged in the parking lot, going over a little speed bump here. And then a right turn. There's the stop for Nitsa. Now a creep. And around. All right, got some pedestrians here. Interesting to see if it's going to stop for them. Okay, it did not stop. They were not in the crosswalk, but that was one of those scenarios I've kind of been waiting for to see if the pedestrians entering that crosswalk would honor that stop sign. Legally, I think because they were waiting there, I should have stopped. Just got another tone for FSD being degraded, but it's still staying engaged. It's lighter rain than it was before too, so it should definitely tolerate this. A little bit of a slowdown there for that crosswalk with those what I identified as cones, but those weren't cones. Those were, well, there was one cone, but the rest of them were the yield signs with the stop sign on them. All right, this should be an unprotected left turn. No traffic coming. Nice roll there. Needs to get in the right lane. Very quickly got in the right lane. That was good. And now it's turning yellow. So a right on red is legal here. Full stop with a creep. There's the creep limit. Taking a look and then proceeding. Right on red's fine. Obviously, I have had mixed success with no right on red signs being read. I don't know whether that's being done with vision or map data or probably both. But I don't have any of those on this route to read. Another flashing yellow. A little bit of red creeping in a little earlier on that one. Car door open was identified on the other side of the road. That was good. Didn't even turn that car blue there to the right because it recognized he was fully stopped. Have a car pretty closely on my tail behind me. Just a quick flash. Kind of see it through the water droplets on the rear view camera. I'm going to edit my route. Should have done that a few minutes ago because it might stop on me here. All right, that car is coming out. Route's continued. I got it just in time there. Lots going on here, but it's still kind of slow Easter morning. Slowed down 3 miles, it's 4 miles an hour for that little double green there without any traffic. Not sure what the slowdown was caused by. Yeah, did it fine. The slowdown, I can't see everything that it's creating those slowdowns, so I'm not sure how to describe it other than just to verbalize it when I feel it, and you look at the accelerometers or the speed slowdown. Okay, so coming up on the S-curve here, the only note on the S-curve is the blinker usage that it's previously been using. So right here on this right turn, right about now, yeah, there it is, the blinker comes on. And then one more here to the left comes on. There it is, right there. So the blinker's still there on the S-curves. I'll snapshot it just for the data. Okay, so next we got some re-entering the previous part of the route. It's got to navigate that traffic circle and then up to the right. There's some confusing points where it has some uncomfortable slowdowns in the past. So we'll see how it does it today. There's the third blinker there for this right turn. I'm really happy that it's staying engaged in the rain though. I mean, previously it was much more skittish around staying engaged. So these are slick, wet roads. The rain's not coming down as much now. All right, let's see if it's gonna continue or stop. There's no traffic here. Now the traffic from the right's coming and I'm pressing the accelerator for my right of way, because it was going to stop and confuse the car behind me and that car. So that was an intervention. Inappropriate stop for traffic circle yield sign. All right, I recorded that one pretty much because I want them to get that fixed. And now my auto steer is not going to engage, so I'm going to have to manually drive until I get my wheel back. All right, there we go. I was afraid I wasn't going to get it back. Yeah, so confusing others and letting the car stop when it has the right of way is not something I allow. So I intervened and forced the disengagement, mostly for the notes that I wanted the dev team to have on that one. All right, so the next one is just a traffic signal here, using the map data to pick the best intersection. This it's using a traffic light. Several months back, it was using an unprotected left turn 1 block over, so it's definitely making still making good decisions on the best route for the planner. Notice the curve here. It's like it recognizes it needs to get over, but it kind of was encroaching there on that projected path. Not exactly sure what it was thinking there. Maybe it was waiting on this white line to appear to get over. Probably. All right, protected with the green arrow here. Should be a no-brainer. Yep. And as you can see, we really don't have a lot of traffic to deal with, so this is pretty much just a light rain drive. But the traffic spray out here on this main road with these other cars is definitely a little bit higher. Just to show, see the rear view camera? It's definitely occluded. I don't know how well it can kind of see through all of that, those water droplets. That's definitely something to consider for, getting to level higher than 3 for sure, how we're going to clean the cameras off. The repeaters in those housings, you can see, even in the spray, are staying pretty clear. But that rear one definitely has some big drops on it. That's probably what was going on with the auto park scenario. Being a little flaky is just those drops weren't giving it a great picture. All right, looks like we've got another double green light scenario set up. Both of these lights are green. And usually, as soon as I go underneath one, I get a slowdown. And there it is, 2 miles an hour, not very significant, and then it reaccelerates back up. And it does not slow down after the second one. So, I don't know what it's thinking when it's doing that. It's probably got to do with the speed limit. I am going the speed limit, so it shouldn't have slowed below the speed limit going underneath a green light. But it does it very consistently for me. I don't know if you guys out there have been able to duplicate it on your own cars, but I just call it the double green light bug. I wouldn't call it unsafe. It's just unusual and unnatural to me. See, here we got a single green light. Just to use an example, it's not the stoplight in itself, but in this scenario with a single stoplight, it should not slow down at all. And it doesn't. So it's definitely got something to do with a double. I've never tried a triple, so I'm just going to say that I know what happens with 2. Getting lots of spray here, staying engaged, which I'm really happy with. So if I'm going to find a bright spot here on this drive, it's that FSD gave me the warning about being degraded, but it's staying engaged. And it allowed me to engage it a couple times where I think on the previous versions it would not have let me. So we just got one unprotected forward-facing left to go. Maybe a little bit of traffic it needs to wait for. So let's see how we finish out this drive. Okay, it's got a scenario where it can roll this one. Oh, no, there's one more car it needs to wait for. And it should wait for that car, and it definitely is. It's going to... it kind of acted like it was going to go ahead of him. It did it fine, but it gave a nudge that if I was that opposing driver, I think I would have been confused as to, whoa, is he going to cut in front of me? It just kind of lunged a little bit. I think you guys know what I'm talking about, because obviously when you're driving defensively yourself, you're always looking for things like that to happen. So, in summary, version 11.3.6 came out a little unexpectedly about 1 week later. Obviously, it looks like they've got something they wanted to polish up. I'm not sure if we're in a weekly cycle, guys, so let's not get excited about the dev team throwing out weekly updates. But I am excited that they're able to roll out these dot release bug fixes. You know, maybe 11.4 is a little bit more of a wait. I'm not sure, or what version is next. We did notice on Teslafy that this version is going out to both ultrasonic equipped cars like mine and non-ultrasonic equipped cars. So maybe they are merging these branches back together. We did do a test in the parking lot to show that, you know, my ultrasonic equipped car is not using any sort of vision-based parking. I am very impressed with the way it handled the rain today. You know, it's kind of light to moderate rain, but it definitely let me engage it in scenarios where I don't think it would have let me engage before. Very disappointed with that four-way stop sign and the way it's handling some of these intersections. It did not handle the traffic circle with the truck very well. I had the right of way, but decided to stop and wait. I was in the middle of a four-way stop sign with the right of way, and it decided to stop in the middle of the intersection with an oncoming car. So those were not comfortable. The unexpected pauses are still in this build. Didn't have a lot of traffic today, so there were probably fewer than I would have had there been more traffic. So that's kind of the summary. Hopefully you stuck with me this long, and if you did, say so in the comments below. I enjoy creating this content for you guys, mostly because of the feedback and the interaction I get with you. Have a great day, everybody, and happy Easter.